The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Let's listen as Lorraine Lapointe, coach, therapist, educator, speaker, and founder of Head Heart Synergy, brings together another enlightened guest to inspire and motivate us to move forward, achieve our dreams and desires, so that we experience midlife awakening.
And I'm your host, Lorraine Lapointe. Today we'll enjoy another candid conversation that reveals how to bring back a sense of balance and how to find forward focus. Today, take just a few moments to join us as we explore the possibilities and the perspectives that provide us with greater inner peace, power, passion, and purpose. Because that's what I call living at the edge of fulfillment in a midlife awakening.
Well, hello and welcome to our audience around the world. I wonder, has this ever happened to you? You wake up one morning and you go in the bathroom and you look in the mirror and you get a little bit of a shock and you wonder, who is that staring back at me? Because you notice that the image is a little older than you feel maybe, or the image seems a little more hollow than you'd like to admit. You can feel her heart is calling. And it's calling for her to show up in a different way in her life. But let's face it, you're not sure what that difference should look like or where she should begin. And luckily, if that's an experience that you've had, today's guest will share her insights into how we can become more curious, courageous, and create flow in midlife. Because now is a great time to grow self-awareness and develop some ideas for like fun new looks. It's time to recognize yourself as a dynamic woman and feel confident. And you too, the guys who are listening, feel more confident as we bridge, there's a gap in this most transformative time of our life. By the way, for those I haven't met before, I'm Lorraine Lapointe, and each week here on Edge of Fulfillment, my guests and I model different ways to explore how to move from the edge of fulfillment so we can expand our thoughts and our beliefs. We explore how we can best show up here in the world and through my company, which is called Head Heart Synergy. Yeah. We find ways to strengthen that inner self-trust. Because as we tame the toxic internal chatter, what I found is that we gain better balance and perspective, and we can better focus on helping things go right in our life. And what I found is as we rebuild that inner self-trust, we find harmony in our relationships. We find better balance in our life. I call that relaunching your life. Because as you can recover from feeling overwhelmed and anxious, or some people are feeling lost or alone these days, you can get stronger and reconnected with that inner core. And you can remake yourself from the inside out as you begin to shine and change the way you look and feel. And the gift to yourself was greater peace of mind, confidence, and feeling more in control of your life. And today, many are feeling kind of on edge, as if we're waiting to exhale. Hey, Rachel, how are you? Sounds exactly like what you need to hear today. Awesome. Well, then we're so glad that you are here today. Because when we're waiting to exhale, that sense of being on pause, that sense of anticipating our next move, what we really want is to eliminate that constant self-sacrifice, self-doubt, self-sabotage, all that gunk that goes on in our mind. And what we want to do is be done with that. We want to be done with self-judgment and the torment of inner voices that can fill us with guilt and shame and blame, so that instead we can focus on what we really want. And in today's show, my guest encourages us to think about how we can get curious, courageous, and create flow in midlife. And there's our first special word of the day. So jot that word down, midlife. Because if you collect all 5 special words that will sprinkle throughout the show today, you can be eligible to win a prize. And you just put the 5 words in the chat at the end of the show when I ask. And today's prize for the lucky winner will receive a digital copy of a book entitled Overcoming Mediocrity, The Unstoppable Women. And it's special because it features our guest. So she's going to tell us more about it. And before we introduce her today, you'll also need to know that when something speaks to your heart, please comment, like, or share your thoughts or questions, because on the Edge of Fulfillment show, you also create an opportunity to make life better for someone else in the world. Because for every comment, like, or share, you help my company, Head Heart Synergy, provide access to a day's clean water wherever it's needed most in the world. And that's through B1G1. So this means that when you comment or ask a question, or you listen to the podcast or download it afterwards, you're actually helping someone in the world to live better. And I want to thank you for helping me to help others. So we're going to take a little short break and go ahead and send out an invitation to your friends and family to join us here on the Edge of Fulfillment on the Head Heart Synergy Facebook fan page, or on W4WN Network Radio. That's W4WN.com, or Talk4 TV. And stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mental fitness, the missing X factor for enhancing performance, achievement, and success. Mental fitness empowers you with the magic of 3: stabilized mood, peace of mind, deeper relationships. Time to make it happen? Grow the self-command muscle. Intercept your self-defenses. Build your inner wisdom. In less than 15 minutes a day, gain the missing X factor. Let me show you how.
There comes a time we wonder, what's next? For women like us, as we stand at the edge of fulfillment, are you feeling unsettled, restless, not quite right? That's midlife awakening. Are you looking for fulfillment? Or to squeeze more juice out of life? Midlife awakening at the edge of fulfillment, don't miss it. We understand. By phone or laptop, wherever you are, come join us. Friday 10 a.m. Eastern Time, on Head Heart Synergy Facebook business page, or here, on the Women for Women Network Radio and Talk4 TV.
Hey, welcome back. Quick recap. We're running the contest today to win the book called Overcoming Mediocrity, Unstoppable Women. And we've already, good morning, Angeline. Great to see you. We've already heard one of the 5 special words needed to be put in the comments at the end of the show, so you can be eligible for the draw. And the first word that we heard was midlife. So now listen for the other words as we continue to explore how being on the edge of fulfillment here on the W4WN Women for Women Network Radio and Talk4 TV. Let's welcome today's guest. Let me tell you a little bit about her first. Regina Young became a New York Ford model, and she is the #1 Amazon best-selling co-author of that book, Overcoming Mediocrity, Unstoppable Women. She's also the founder and owner of something called Model Perfect Woman. It's a self-branding. She's a self-branding image consultant who helps women who are stuck in that, that past-based vision of yourself. So Model Perfect Woman challenges and champions women who are in midlife so that they can redefine their personal image from the inside out. And Regina is the host also of a bi-monthly podcast called Tea Time Midlife Edition, which I had the honor of appearing on that podcast just a little while ago. And she helps reveal and highlight challenges, victories, breakthroughs in the lifestyles of midlifers. Yeah, thank you very much, Angeline. So lovely to have you. And so let's bring Regina online because she is so wonderful. Welcome, Regina.
Hi, how are you, Lorraine? Hi, everybody.
I am wonderful today. And I understand that there was a point in your life where you kind of got to a crossroads and just then decided, and this is exciting, you decided you could have it all. Talk about moving from the edge of fulfillment and into fulfillment. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got that right. You know what it is? At one point, I was clear in my 40s. I thought, oh, that's where midlife begins. Things are going to be challenging, or I'm going to go into a crisis or something like that. No, it was the next day. It was just like 30, 40. It kind of was like the same. But when I hit 50, then there was like an awakening that happened. Like who I was in the past no longer was valid. It was not fulfilling me. I don't know, I felt like something was missing. And there was, and I
Mm.
was asking the question, is this all there is? There's got to be more to this. And so I went on like a quest or an inquiry to see if I could figure out what's missing and put that in and then start living my life the way I wanted to. And that was the key. The key for me was just going on an inquiry and an internal journey. And I think that is the opening.
Yeah, and thanks, Angeline. Angeline says it's lovely to see you, and it
Thank
is so
you
lovely
as
to see
well.
you. And so, I mean, I want to know more about your story. And
Absolutely.
so where would you like to start? Quite often we start our story at the end, but where would you like to start your story?
Well, let's start in the middle. I had a great career in New York working for Ford Models and as a plus size model. You could
Mm.
see me on national magazines, big time runways, and all that. And it was a great career working with Essence and Lord and Taylor's, Nordstrom, and being on Kathleen Regis talk show, Sally Jesse Raphael, like a lot of different things. And then at one point, I was like, I'm at the top,
Yeah.
I'm where I want to be, and that was not fulfilling,
Oh.
which was surprising because I had went on that journey. But at one point, when you realize you're not where you're supposed to be, that is a red flag to consider going inside and finding out what does bring you joy. So that was one thing. And then after being, married and divorced, I came to the place where it was like, okay, I'm not clear who I am anymore because I was someone's wife,
Mm.
mother, stepmother, uh, girlfriend for many years. And then I'm like, I'm single again. Hmm.
Mm.
Unexpected, surprising, not expecting that. And so I started taking self development courses to actually, get whatever's in the way out of the way so I could start participating in my life. And that's where I started. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, let's fast forward to midlife.
Okay, okay.
Now, in midlife, the reason why I say fast forward is because through how life has been challenging for the past couple of years, I like came to the conclusion that my friends, that circle was starting to get smaller and smaller as I'm getting older and older. And I'm like, how does that work? Now, I am a social person. So, for my circle to be getting smaller, I'm like, it must be the community is what's missing. Is community.
Mm. Yeah.
I was actually even considering getting a dog because I was like, you know what? Hey, I need company.
Apparently, pets have like the requirement for pets, the desire for pets has escalated like crazy because people have found that their social circles have shrunk so much. And given the world today, it's hard to make those circles grow. you know
Uh,
um so pets have become the answers. So did you
abs-
did you get a pet, or tell me what happened next?
Okay. No, I did not get a pet because I got that that may not be the solution for me. For some people, that may be, and it's nothing wrong with it. I love, pets. That's not a problem. Actually, I have nieces and nephews, all with dogs and cats, and if I want a pet, I know where to go. So
You can borrow a pet.
exactly, I can borrow a pet.
It's like I borrow kids.
Exactly,
If
same
I need
deal.
my kid fix, I can borrow a
Could have any level of kids too as well. But what ended up happening is I came to the conclusion, once the hot flashes start kicking in and the mood swings and all that, I just started reaching out to a friend at work, really a safe friend at work, and she was going through the same thing, and we started having like uh, 3 o'clock meetings talking about
Mm.
some solutions on what we could do, for our hot flashes, or what did you try for mood swings, you know, and we would have a cup of tea. So
Oh, I know where this is heading, I think.
yeah, yeah, we would have a cup of tea, and it would make such a difference because I'm at a job that's a high performance job. I'm working for a pharmaceutical company at the time, and it was there was a level, it was with the sales team, there was a level of you had to be like on point, and I was starting to feel alone, but that safe friend, I was able to talk to her and share what I was feeling. She was sharing what she was feeling. It was exactly what I needed. I did not feel alone. I felt a sense of community. And that's where I started the podcast Tea Time Midlife Edition. Because I really felt like if I am feeling this way, I bet there's a few people out in the world that are feeling the same way. And maybe we could have a few conversations that'll make a difference and share a few advice or whatever that is, and
And
create an
so,
opportunity. Yeah.
yeah, and so
Mhm.
there's the address for Instagram if people want to pop on and check out Tea Time Midlife Edition. And it sounds very similar in some ways to the path that brought us to Edge of Fulfillment. And most of my guests and most of my listeners know that this show is actually called Midlife Awakening at
Uh,
the Edge of Fulfillment, because I mean, people talk about midlife crisis, getting old. In fact, I had a conversation yesterday with a friend, and and we didn't realize the difference in our perceptions about the word midlife.
yes.
And so maybe we can talk a little bit about that, because I think there's a lot, like for me, I'll start with my perception because everything's about me. Um, my perception of midlife has always been that it has been so well earned. Like I earned the right to be in midlife. And so for me, it's almost a badge of honor to be a woman in her prime, a woman in midlife. And I'm still like people say, oh, they get visions of, well, this was my friend's vision, somebody old, gray haired, lack of energy, depressed, sitting on the couch waiting to die. And it can't be further from my perspective on midlife. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Wow. Well, we I don't know. I say the world sees midlife as, go away, disappear, get ready for your rocking chair, and that that's what we're up to. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not
No.
how I see it. Look, I say that being in midlife, you should be seen and heard. You've earned the right, just like you said, Lorraine. You earned the right to be seen and heard. And most of all, this is the most exciting time, transformational time in your life. Really, this is like, yeah, it's like over the hill, yes, but it's over the hill with a valley of choices.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
so it seemed to me that's a good deal. So you just have to recognize that you're, in a clearing.
Well, and I often talk about the opportunity to relaunch your life, because
Yes.
I
Yes.
find that in midlife, in the age of 40, like 40 to 50 to 60, somewhere in there,
Yes. Yes.
you suddenly wake up one morning, as you said, and is this all there is? What's next for me? And
Exactly.
it starts, there's actually a chemical change in the brain that starts you on the path to asking what's next, what's more, who am I? Who do I want to be? And recognizing that you have choice about who you are and how you appear and how you show up in the world. And I know that your rebranding company does lots for women and how they show up. So let's have that conversation. So when someone comes to you and says, I don't feel quite right, Regina, something's not right, what happens next?
You know what? The name of the company is called Model Perfect Woman.
Mhm.
Yeah. And every
Model perfect
woman,
woman. Love
yeah,
it.
exactly. Model perfect woman. Every woman is model perfect with style. And when a woman comes to me and she say she's stuck,
Mm.
um, she's not, clear, like, who she is. Like the last time she was clear, she can show me literally a picture that she felt like herself, like her insides matched her outsides. And then
Mm.
somewhere along the way in the life journey, stopped participating in the outward appearance, started fitting in, and lost their sense of identity, like of who they were. So the first thing we do, we start going in an internal inquiry, start asking questions. Okay. And by asking questions like, when was the last time you felt like yourself?
Mm.
Because that's
Isn't that a wonderful question?
absolutely.
And I just want to give our listeners pause for a second to actually think about that. When was the last time you felt like yourself? And you mentioned one of our special words, inside out.
Yes.
When was the last time your inside matched your outside, or your outside actually matched your inside?
That as well. Yeah. And, by asking that question, you can start to see where you got stuck because there's a place
Mm.
you got stuck. And if you don't distinguish where you got stuck, how could you possibly move forward?
Yeah, and it's that awareness. And actually, I'm gonna
Awareness,
let
yes.
let our guests, our listeners know awareness is another one. So we've had three. We've had midlife, inside out, and awareness of our special words. So just jot them down and put them in the end of in the chat at the end.
Yes.
But yeah, if you, it's that sense of like awakening, literally, and
Hmm.
awareness where you suddenly say, wow, things aren't aligned. I mean, that's why I call my company Head Heart Synergy,
It's
because there's something out of alignment. There's something that's not matching. And that's
absolutely.
a painful place to be, I found.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like you stop participating and then you get a sense of being paralyzed. And that can
Mm.
go on and on and on. And that's why when you come to Model Perfect Woman, there's an opportunity to start unpacking that. What's
Ah,
got you, what has you held in place? And by distinguishing that now opens up a possibility. And then we can look and see where we can go from there. Now it does take an internal journey, and
mm.
it does take being curious and not, I already know that. Because if you already know that, we're not moving any further than I already know that.
Well, when you absolutely know something, you actually, the other options and perspectives disappear
They
from you.
disappear.
And
Yes.
I love the title of our show today, which is Curiosity and Courageous and Creative in
Yes.
Flow in
Yep.
Midlife. So we've talked about a little bit about the curiosity and the need for that.
Yeah.
Well, what else is needed?
Well, actually, being brave and
Mm,
being curious and being courageous. Because, I asked the question, when was the last time you tried something for the first time? When was that?
mm.
Because if you ask that question, you'll realize, I stopped participating and I stopped being courageous.
Yeah, so let's repeat that question for the listeners. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
Absolutely.
That's a wonderful question. I love that.
Yeah, in midlife, I actually, for Tea Time Midlife Edition, we have a midlife bucket list challenge. And we actually started talking about what would be on your midlife bucket list. And that's an opportunity to try things for the first time.
Mhm.
Like in midlife, I've never gone to a concert. As soon as I came back from a 30-day midlife challenge of living abroad in Costa Rica, I went to a concert.
Oh, isn't that cool? Who'd you
And it was amazing. Like,
who did you see? Do you remember?
actually, Darius Rucker. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
and he is very. I mean, it was like the best concert ever. I don't know. I don't know if that's
I was just gonna
grand
say,
enough. If that's grand enough, but he was
yeah, but
that
it was,
good. It was that amazing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah,
No, we're breaking up just a little. I'm noticing. So,
okay, got it. Yeah, it's the renewing of the spirit by trying something new. And the level of excitement, I have that as the best concert ever. Ah, like I didn't even know I still love that. But I do. I'm looking for the next one.
it's like tasting something you haven't had for a long time, and then remembering and
Exactly.
recognizing how amazing it is. And
Absolutely.
giving yourself that experience. So, oh, good question, Rachel. So Rachel's asking, what is the 30-day midlife retreat like?
Actually, what it is I had made a choice. I was like, okay, we've had a challenging couple years. And I said, what would it take to make me explore and really get curious and expanding myself
Mm,
newly, because I think that was what was driving the 30-day challenge, um, to move abroad, because I had it like life's going to go this way and it will continue that way unless I try something new. So I have an opportunity. I can work remotely. So I just chose Costa Rica,
I love
um,
Costa Rica.
and I literally went and did a Verbi, that's VRBO.com, condo situation, and started living my life. And it was amazing. I met a lot of new people, and that is where I'm like, expanding your community is everything. Now I have new friends. They're, from Costa Rica. I've met people who moved from America to Costa Rica, like all that. It's all about expanding your community in midlife. There's no reason for you to do it alone.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? I always find this. Isn't it amazing how when we get out of our typical environment,
Yes,
how there is so much more available
absolutely.
to us? We get into that rut. We get into that state of like one day looks very much like the next, like the next, like the next.
Absolutely.
And I think that is typical, for especially for women, for moms, for those who work in corporate, for those who have jobs, so like women who just have given all day every day to others
Yes.
typically, and then
Hmm. Hmm.
it becomes so routine, so so devoid of the excitement and the
Absolutely.
opportunity to see things differently and do things differently. So I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, Costa
Yeah.
Rica is a great choice.
Yes, yes. You know what? It kind of jump started my flow because that stagnantness, was just starting to kind of wear down on me. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to learn this. So that jump started it. I gave myself permission to play. That's all that happened. I gave myself permission.
And there's one of our other words, permission. So, yeah, to give yourself, I have a friend who just lost her husband after a
That's
long,
unfortunate.
long battle. And she noticed that in the space between when he passed and quite recently, she's just
Hmm.
filled her world with like 1,000 things a day to do. And in her wisdom, she's decided that she's going to take 4 days. Like, it doesn't have to be 30.
Yes,
She's
yeah,
just going to
absolutely.
take 4 days and go to a different place. She's having a tech holiday. She's going to just be immersed in who she is for 4 days.
Mhm.
Exactly, Angeline. Angeline says, give ourselves permission to play. That's
Absolutely.
exactly what she's doing.
Absolutely.
She's having a play retreat, a
Oh,
play like, and it sounds like that was something that happened when you were in Costa Rica, that you picked up on play again.
absolutely. And that's something that's missing in midlife. We've gotten our life experience on our back. We've got, our kids and, we've got our, obligations to job, and then we stop playing,
Mm,
you know. And in midlife, okay, so the kids are out of the house. You're empty nester now. You're divorced. Now you can make choices just for you. Now you're in a marriage that's just, it's going. We're together.
mm.
Play is missing. Put it in. Give yourself and your relationship an opportunity to play again. It opens up a whole new world. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. Just love that. So I love these tips and tricks and these questions. And I think I read somewhere that one of your key thoughts or points was that if you're going to have to participate in your own rescue,
Yes. That is fair to say.
is
Yeah.
that one of your, yeah.
Yeah, that really is one of my, let's say, sayings, because I realize I'm single at this moment. I'm 58, so I got to own all of it. I'm not going to
Mm,
hide from it. I own all of it. That I'm 58, I'm single, and I have to participate in my own rescue. If I'm looking to attract someone, I don't need to be in the most needy state there is.
well, if you're in a
to
needy state, you'll attract needy people.
Exactly, that's exactly it. But, if you are standing and owning your own power, you're gonna attract someone just like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and lately, I mean, to take things in a little bit of a different direction, in order to stand in your own power, lately what has I've been working a lot with is internal trauma and
Yes.
intergenerational trauma. And
Yes.
what I found is that there are many of us wandering around. I put myself in the same group. Many of us wandering around not understanding that a lot of the depression, the heaviness, the darkness, the
Mm.
anxieties, the worries, they really aren't our own. They are
No.
what we have inherited, either from
Mm.
our parents or, sorry, many generations.
Absolutely.
And the joy is knowing that there are ways that you can be released from all of that,
Absolutely.
to find your play, to rescue yourself, to find that wonderful sense of new brand, right? A self
Yes.
brand. And I think that's our fifth word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Branding, self
Yes,
branding.
branding.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So go
Yeah.
ahead, if you're listening, go ahead and stick those 5 words, special words in the chat. So just a quick recap: midlife, branding, permission, inside out, and awareness. And
Yes.
yeah, all of those are important. And I love your other quote that I read. If it's to be, then it's up to me.
That is actually, you have to find what drives you, as in a quote, an affirmation. It could be any of those things. For me, it was, if it's to be, it's up to me.
Mm.
Like, I have choice, I have the ability, and I trust in whoever your higher being is. So, yeah,
I love that, because one of the exercises that I do with clients myself after we have released uh,
yes, absolutely.
intergenerational trauma, or we've reset DNA, we heal DNA, because
Yes.
quite often our DNA comes in a little bit mucked up, especially these days. So we can reset, we can reset that, refresh that, and then we create a declaration for ourselves. So that sounds very much, if it's to be, it's up to me, sounds like
Is a
very much
declaration
a
for
self
sure.
declaration.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, that, and a beautiful one, I will say.
Thank you so much.
Perhaps perhaps this is a good time to do our oracle card reading.
I don't want to step over when I mentioned owning your power. It's actually part of the Overcoming Mediocrity, Unstoppable Woman. That is the
Ah,
chapter of the book that I am in. It is actually about 20 different women. It's like a conversation regarding not being stuck in mediocrity and choosing to overcome. Some really great stories. Yeah, and I'm offering that ebook for
for
people out
who?
there. So
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. So they can actually go and find, it's called Overcoming Mediocrity and Unstoppable Women, right?
absolute.
And you do say there's
It's an
20
Amazon.
of them?
Yes, it's 20 different chapters, 20 different women. This is a co-authored opportunity that came across my desk, and I was like, you know what? I I believe. I don't believe in staying in mediocrity. I believe in overcoming it. That's something to go through, not stand in.
Yeah, and I believe that the friend of mine, Christy Ruffino,
Yes.
has something to do with that, and she's also been a guest on our show. So just giving a quick
Ah,
shout out to Christy, because
yay.
her work is awesome, and I can't wait to read your chapter in the book
Absolutely.
and the chapters of the other 19 unstoppable women. But
Absolutely.
so what do you think about an oracle card pull? Are you ready for
Please,
one?
please.
All
Yes.
right, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good.
I have my cards. What I'm going to do is just shuffle them. And when you say stop, we'll grab a card and see what the deck has to say to us today.
Stop.
All right. Oh, looking forward to reading this one. This says a burst of magic. So let's hear. Oh, and it's got, I don't know if you can see that. Can you zoom in again, Rox? Thank you. Notice the shape of coming out of the lotus is a beautiful female figure. Burst of magic. How awesome. So let's read what it has to say for us today. So sometimes we may find that something we've been pondering revisits us without warning.
Mhm.
The trigger might be just the right words arising from a conversation, like the one we're having, maybe a
Mhm.
book or a blog. It's as if the world stops in that moment as you integrate a missing piece of the puzzle that you were
Mm.
meant to solve all along. Be grateful for this burst of magic, even when it appears that you're trapped or stuck, as you were saying. You always have the key to unlock the solution if you cultivate the courage. Oh my goodness, we were just talking about that. The courage and the willingness to be open and in tune with yourself and source.
Hello.
Hello. Be mindful today when information pops up out of the blue, pay attention, because only good will come of this.
Mm. Extraordinary.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Oh, I feel verklempt. Hold on for a second. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I get that cards do read energy. I'm very clear about the energy source.
Yeah, that is, well, I've said it on many shows. I'm always saying, I can't believe the card is so perfect.
Yeah.
But I'll say it again today. I laugh at myself all the time. Of
I
course it's
got
perfect.
that. Well,
Oh,
that's
dear.
so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. I wanna Oh, you're welcome, and I hope or I trust that message also resonates
Oh, yeah.
for our listeners, out there as well. So I'm just wondering, what really lights you up as you step into your best self right now?
What really lights me up, I would say, trying new things,
Mm.
experiencing new experiences, expanding who I know myself to be. I think that lights me up. I am a curious person and I stay continuously learning. So, like all those things, they generate who I am. And I love meeting new people. I love being in community. I find that in community, you will never be alone. I moved back from New York, and New York is a big city after like been living there for 20 years. And I moved to Philadelphia, where I'm originally from, and I started a meetup group for tennis.
Ah.
It's been 6 years for that meetup group, and that was one community. Then, of course, I have a religious community. So there, I have about 5 different communities. There's always an event going. There's always new people to meet. There's always things to do, and that's why I say in midlife is so important to have community and intergenerational. It'll keep you young. I'm just saying.
Well, that's well, I couldn't agree more, and I find the same thing. What lights me up is learning,
Mhm, mhm,
but I love
mhm.
learning and sharing it with others. So there's the
Absolutely.
community piece as
Mhm,
well.
mhm,
That's
mhm,
awesome.
mhm.
So this next question for you, just what's the best mistake you ever made?
Oh, wow, what a great question. Uh, I say the best mistake I made is, hmm, well, I guess, spending so much time, pursuing a modeling career and then finally getting to the top and being like, "Ah, it's not my ladder's against the wrong building."
Isn't it amazing how those inner toxic saboteurs, they lie to us all the time. Like, when you've accomplished this, then you'll be
Yes,
happy. I love that lie, right?
exactly.
You should be happy in the moment, not when you've accomplished something. That is such an important thing to know. And I think that leads me to one of your other quotes, which was, the real deal is believing that this too shall pass. So no
Yes.
matter you find out you've climbed the ladder and it's on the wrong building, this too shall pass. And
But
you get a
but there
chance
was
to
the one
redo it.
thing. Yeah, there was the one thing you said was, I'm not sure I've got the quote right, but, it's the one thing you said is that was the best mistake. Yeah, it was a great mistake, but the journey I took to get there was no mistake. That's the thing. Yeah.
Well, there's a gift. If we notice, I used to, of course, I was a teacher and a principal for years, so I had all kinds of sayings for my kids. But kids are supposed to make mistakes, and so are adults.
Yes.
Like, people say, "Oh, I made that was a horrendous mistake." Really? Where's the gift in that?
Yeah,
Who wouldn't you be if you hadn't made that mistake? And who are
absolutely.
you because of the gifts in those mistakes? I mean, I've made pretty big ones in my life.
Wow. Yeah,
And I will
as
not.
well.
Yeah. And I don't think you get to midlife. This is why I call it a badge of honor. You don't get
Yes,
here by playing it safe and not having experiences. And I mean,
absolutely.
and some people call them mistakes and some people just call them experiences, but think embracing. I love that, climbing the ladder and finding out it was on the wrong wall.
That I think that what made it so not a mistake at the end of the day is because of the risks I took. And
Mm.
in midlife, uh, we stop taking risks. It's time to give yourself permission and take some risks. And that opens up a whole nother world, unpredictable. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to challenge our listeners and viewers right now and ask yourself this upcoming, or maybe today or this upcoming
Mhm.
week, what are you going to do that's going to move you just off the edge of fulfillment and
Yes.
into, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to be courageous,
Mhm.
creative, or curious this week?
Yeah.
Because I love that. I think that is, any of those things will infuse your world with energy. And I
Absolutely.
want to thank you for bringing that to our listeners this week, Regina. It's been such a pleasure to have you. And unfortunately, we have to wrap up. So I'm just going to ask: is
Okay.
there any message that you have that you haven't been able to share with us today that you'd like to give?
I feel like this has been an awesome experience, Lorraine. I really appreciate the opportunity. I just, request that your listeners consider trying something new that you never thought you would do. Like, give yourself permission to try something new for the first time.
Yeah, and if you need inspiration, I'm going to suggest that they look up your book,
Absolutely.
"Overcoming Mediocrity: Unstoppable Women," and read those stories. Get inspired. Learn
Yes.
a little bit more. Thanks, Roxy. There's the book. That's what
Very
you're looking
great.
for. It's on
Very good.
Amazon,
Yes, it
of
is,
course,
as
along
well
with
as
everything.
yes, yes, as well as you can reach out to teatimemidlife.com and you can get a signed copy as well
Oh,
from myself.
I
Mhm.
want one of those.
Yep. Absolutely. It's coming your way. We'll check
Awesome.
that extra line offline.
As a host of the show, I get to ask these things.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's how people can contact you. That's wonderful. And I want to say thank you so much, Regina, for taking the time to be here and share your wisdom with us, and to remind our listeners that you are a self-rebranding coach, and that
Yes,
if they're feeling at all stuck and that they want to remake themselves over, that you help them become model perfect women.
absolutely. With
And and
style.
and anyone can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. So remember, listeners, put those 5 secret words into the chat in order to be eligible to win that prize from Regina. And you can also email it to my attention. So if there's no chat where you are because you're listening on radio, then go ahead and email it to my attention. That's support@headheartsynergy.com, and put the word contest in the subject line so that I can find them easily, and I put your ballot in. And just for those who might have tuned in, the nearest the end, I'll just give you the 5 words again. They are midlife, branding, permission, inside out, and awareness. And it's been absolute pleasure to have you here today, Regina.
Thank you, Lorraine. Cheers.
Cheers. And I am your host, Lorraine Lapointe of Head Heart Synergy, reminding you that here at the edge of fulfillment, there's always a choice. You can stay on the edge and getting what you've already got, or you can become just a little creative, curious, and courageous, and move beyond the edge and get what you really want. And we'll see you
Mhm.
next week.